2016 was indeed a difficult year because you had a number of political overhangs such as Brexit, the US elections, but also the Italian referendum towards the end of the year, for example. And all of these events actually had an outcome which was either unexpected or was the outcome which was seen as adverse by the market. But I think it's actually quite instructive to look at what was the actual result for market performance over the course of the year, and this was positive. So obviously markets at a certain stage have been able to look through this political overhang and actually focus on the underlying fundamentals which had been improving over the course of the year and actually are still giving a very constructive outlook. So the question is, what is going to happen going forwards, because we still have a very full political calendar for 2017, and will markets continue to be able to focus on the fundamentals, as I said, very constructive, or will they be unsettled by the political overhang? This is another change to the positive for European companies, because we've been focusing so far on the good situation within Europe. So the domestic economy has been doing better, obviously, but now it seems like also on a global basis we see some improvement, not only from the US, but also emerging markets seem to be through the worst, obviously, and because Europe is a very open economy, this is important for European companies. There are quite a number of companies which have a lot of exports, so whenever the global economy will be doing better, that is something which will provide further stimulus for the European equity market. There are many ways in which Europe looks more attractive as compared to other regions. Let's start with valuations. Europe still sits at a large discount as compared to global equity markets, which might be a reflection of the continuous political overhang. So it seems like market participants continue to be skeptical about this situation in Europe, despite the improvement which we've seen on the fundamental basis. Dividend yields. Europe is still the highest yielding region, so for any income-oriented investor, Europe is the place to be, obviously. And also when you have some appetite for value-style investments, which is a good place to be in a rising interest rate environment, Europe is a good place, because whenever interest rates have been rising and value-style investments have been outperforming, Europe has been outperforming the global market just because of the sector structure. For example, you can find in Europe. So there are quite a number of arguments why Europe is looking attractive as compared to other regions at the moment. With regard to our European equity dividend strategy, we've tried to add some cyclical exposure to the portfolio, obviously on the back of this improved outlook which we want to capture. So one notable change has been we've been revisiting the banks very carefully, so we don't have any exposure to peripheral countries with regard to the banking sector, but we've been adding, and we are now back to a neutral rate with regard to the sector, which is quite a notable change. We are still very reluctant with regard to the consumer staples sector. High valuations has been serving as a bond proxy, recently more under pressure because of this, so we will keep our underweight with regard to this, and something similar also applies to the healthcare sector. This is certainly one of the aspects. You get some risk mitigation, so you can weather some of the market volatility, some of the setbacks on markets better as compared to a plain vanilla strategy, probably. And because markets are never a straight line, there are ups and downs. This will help you to navigate this market volatility. Apart from this, income is still very attractive.
安聯投資實見實現